Welcome to the AR Performance Squash Advantage, hosted by me, Ahad Raza, a former PSA touring pro turned elite performance mentor and coach. I break down tactics, technique, fitness, and mindset by analyzing players from the past and present, both men and women. I aspire to teach, empower, and guide transformation. Let's get started. What's up, everyone? Today, I'm really excited to share a video on combinations by assessing and analyzing Amr Shabana, the Maestro. Now, Shabana is one of my favorite players, so I'm really excited to be doing this. If you recall, I also created his 1-2 punch combo video, and I will link to that so you can check that out because this is an add-on in many ways to that video. As usual, let us begin with some coaching tips. So first things first. What is the 1-2 punch? If you haven't checked out the previous video, I would highly encourage you to do so. But at a high level, the 1-2 punch combo, and it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, it could go on forever. But the idea is that you hit one shot. You can either initiate by hitting that shot, or you can counterattack someone and initiate the combination. But the key is to hit a shot that could be tight to the sidewall, so that you force your opponent to hit a loose ball, and then you're hunting the volley and the second shot to apply extra pressure on your opponent or to win the point outright. So an example would be I'll give you two examples, one from the back court, one from the front court. So let's say I hit a nice backhand drive down the left-hand side wall. It's glued to the wall when my opponent is going to hit it. They force a loose ball. I'm on the tee. I jump on that ball. I hit a cross-court nick. My 1-2 punch combo. First punch is that perfect straight drive. Second punch is the volley cross-court nick. So that would be a 1-2 punch combo. If my opponent picks up that volley and fluffs up a loose ball that could, in an attempt to hit a lob, I could jump on that next volley and maybe hammer it down the line on the forehand side. And that would be my third punch, and maybe that's my winner. So that would be an example where I initiate the 1-2 punch or 3-punch combo from the back of the court by hitting a good length. I could also initiate this combo by hitting a nice tight drop shot from the front court, the mid court, or the back court into, let's say, the front right corner in this example. So I play that drop shot, it's going and it's glued to the sidewall. Opponent basically tries to fluff it up. They hit something loose. They hit a loose cross-court lob, for example. I jump on that ball and I punch that backhand volley down the line. My length, ideally in a wonderful world, fades into that back left corner, and there's my 1-2 punch combo. First punch is that straight drop tight to the side wall. Second punch is the volley down the line. So that's the whole thing about combinations. And even based on those examples, you would have realized that any shot can set up a combination. You can initiate the combination by a shot that you hit, or you can counterattack your opponent, which can also initiate the combination. The key is to do a little self-reflection and raise your awareness around what your strengths are and how you like to set up combos. And then you want to obviously maintain those strengths and start consciously playing to those strengths and combinations in your matches if you aren't already doing so. But then you also want to try to set up more strengths. So if you realize that, hey, I can only set up this combination from the left side on my backhand from the mid-court by playing a volley drop, and then I hunt the volley, amazing. You have one strength that you know of. Let's try to add another one. Imagine you can play that straight, tight drop on the forehand side, on the right side as well. Imagine that you can do it from the back of the court as well. Imagine you can do it when your opponent attacks you short and you go and put this really nice counter drop in, and now you've suddenly reversed the pressure and squeezed them. Imagine you can play this beautiful lob that goes and fades in the back, and your opponent can just barely hit a backwall lob or a high defensive boast, and that could set up your combo. There are infinite ways to do it. I would encourage you to start thinking about what your strengths are and what you can add to the repertoire, because remember, the more options you have from different positions in the court, the more deadly you're going to be, just simply based on the natural deception fact, based on the fact that you would be creating patterns and breaking patterns all the time, which would force your opponent to be totally honest on the tee. And I'll link back to the John Khan video that I originally set up on patterns and creating and breaking patterns. And then the last thing I want to remind you guys of is that you're not always going to win a point directly when you initiate and set up a pattern. And if you do win a point, it might take 3, 4, 5 combos. But one thing to remember is that you have to respect and reset when your opponent does defend effectively. So don't get into that mistake of, okay, I have them under pressure. I have them under pressure. Oh, wow, they hit a nice lob, but I'm running backwards and chasing it, and I still have to attack that. No, you don't have to attack that. Then you just want to respect that shot that they hit. You want to just reset that nice defensive shot that they hit, and then reset the rally. And then you look for your next opening by initiating your combination again when you get the chance. So the goal is apply pressure, and then obviously, ideally, win the rally outright if you can. But you definitely want to be applying pressure by using these combinations. Okay, so in terms of structure, I have 6 video clips for you. We're going to play them in real speed, then we're going to play them at half speed, and then we're going to go in slow-mo. So get ready, take out your pens, pencil, notebook, whatever you want to have, because we're going to get started now. I'm going to try not to talk through these first clips. Go. Clip 3. Clip 4. Clip 5. Clip 6. Okay, those are in real speed. I know it went fast. Maybe you picked up a couple of things, but just in case you didn't, let's check it out at half speed, okay? All of them once again. So clip 1 is going to start now. And again, I'd encourage you to think about what shot is he setting up the combo with, where in the court is he setting it up with, and how is he following it up. And you don't have to be like, oh, he's doing it from here, from this. It's more to just show you that you can do it from multiple places in the court on either side, and there are infinite possibilities, and here are some examples. So get ready. We're going to check it out in half speed now. Clip 2. Clip 3. Clip 4. Clip 5. Clip 6. Okay, so let's check this first one out. So I've broken it down into where Shabana is setting up his combos into the front right corner, and then we're going to look at a couple of clips where he's setting them up in the front left corner. So just for convenience and ease, I have done it so that we can see 2 of them side by side. So first things first, you can initiate these combinations from anywhere, like I've already said before. So you see in the clip on the left, Shabana is actually in the front left corner, and he's going to play that cross drop into the front right, applying pressure on Gaultier and setting it up. In the clip on the right, Shabana is playing mid-court on the right side, playing the straight drop in. So let's check this out. And check this out. In both cases, Gaultier is behind Shabana, which is why he's playing it into the front of the court. In the clip on the left, he's got this big open space over here, and Gaultier is way over because it had a little exchange in the front left. And then in this clip, Shabana is in a nice open space, and Gaultier is behind him. So bread and butter for Shabana is playing this drop shot. One thing I do want to say from a coaching perspective on this clip on the left, a lot of juniors especially like to get into this cross-court drop little situation in matches. And I would say be really cautious of this, because what juniors do is they get into this cross drop situation. Both players are stuck in the front of the court, and the first person who hits anything to the back will win the point because this entire back space is open. In this situation, Shabana plays an effective cross-court drop because Gaultier was just getting out of this front left corner, and he's still quite a ways over to the left side of the court, which is why Shabana can play here with a halfway decent, accurately hit shot and put a ton of pressure on Gaultier. Okay, so from here, if we keep going, we're going to see the objective, as I mentioned, is to stretch out your opponent and put them under some pressure so that they hopefully give you something a little bit loose to work with. And in both situations, you see Gaultier here. He's not super stretched out, but he is stretched out a bit. That's comfortable for a guy of his strength and fitness. And then over here, you see Gaultier is far more stretched out. And one little way of telling as well is like his head's down, his arms, his left hand is on the ground to support for balance. Over here, he did not put his hand down. Usually, if you recall from a previous video, when someone's under a lot of pressure, they usually put their left hand down, assuming they're a right-handed player. And that would typically go open stance. Someone asked me a question once, do you want to put your left hand down when you're going closed stance? Meaning if Gaultier put his left foot forward? Typically not, because that's a pretty awkward thing to do where you put your left hand on your left foot and you're trying to hit the ball at the same time. So now, the next thing we see is that after you put that first shot in, you stretch your opponent out, you're hunting the volley. So you see Shabana is already getting his racket ready in both situations. And if this lob, in either situation, if the lobs were too good, Shabana would move back and then take the ball in the back. Here, you see Shabana actually take a little bit of a hop to volley that in both clips. Way more here, less here. Because he knows that Gaultier is still stuck in this front corner, a lesser player would probably try to do something too excessive, like trying to go for a forehand, in Shabana's case, kill here, or go back for the cross-court nick or something super fancy. Shabana is doing the basic thing, which is hitting to the open court. So he's hitting that straight drive over here to make Gaultier do the maximum work possible. And truthfully, a lesser opponent would probably not have been able to hit a decent enough lob that forces Shabana to jump. They would have probably fluffed something up into the middle of the court, and presumably most of the players that you play, if you put in a halfway decent ball the way Shabana did, are going to fluff something up right in the middle, and then it's a nice easy shot that you hit through the court into the opposite back corner. And you see that over here. Shabana is just trying to hit the ball down with this line. And if you recall from a previous video, which if I remember to link, I will, where I showed how different players hit the cross court across their opponent, that would be something you can do afterwards. The key right now is hit to the open space so Gaultier gets used to having to cover this diagonal in this scenario, and then later you could rip that cross court across the opponent, and then they'll be moving to the back left, and then the ball will be moving across them in the opposite direction. But that's a subsequent thing for later. Don't worry about that right now. Focus on the basics. And then here we go. Shabana is hitting that drive in both cases and applying a ton of pressure. He's either winning the point outright, such as I don't think this ball made it to the front wall on the left, and this ball went back, and I don't know if he got the lead or not. But you see he's putting pressure in both situations. And this is just a reminder, you see him squeeze on that front right wall, and he's looking to hunt and volley the ball. And he initiated it from different parts of the court in both examples. So let's keep going to the next example. So now you're seeing Shabana setting it up with a straight drop into the front right corner. And in the video on the left, you see him do it from mid-court, almost three-quarter court. In the video on the right, he's in three-quarter court, almost into the back court. So now we've seen a couple of different options. In the first two clips, Shabana set it up into the front right from the front left. In the other one, he set it up into the front right from kind of mid-short on the right side. And now he's a little bit deeper in the court in this left video, and even deeper on the right video clip. And you're going to notice the exact same things. His goal here is to glue this ball onto the side wall in both cases. And then you're forcing your opponent. Squeeze your opponent and then go hunting. So here Gaultier tried, in the clip on the right, Gaultier tried to do a little bit too much, and he tried to hit this fancy cross-court drop, fluffing the ball up kind of high, so Shabana gets to jump on that. And the clip on the left, Shabana's length was tight, so Gaultier is trying to scrape it off the side wall, and it pops up a little bit loose. And then in both cases, Shabana is getting ready with his racket. And here's the other thing. So now in the clip on the right, you see that Shabana didn't go straight, he actually went cross. So your second shot can be straight or cross. It could be long or short. It totally depends on the situation. I just want to show you that anything's possible. And the clip on the left, you're going to see that instead of going cross, he actually goes straight on the drive this time. And there you see it. And what you'll notice is, like we said, a successful execution is to either win the point outright or to at least put work into your opponent. And on the clip on the right, you see Shabana won it outright. He also added a little hold over here, which as you get more advanced, you can also do. It just stops your opponent's movement a little bit. And the natural deception video that I put up with Cameron Pilley just a few days ago, I think last week, you will see that you can just use natural deception and that'll make your second or third shot combo even more effective. And the clip on the left, like I was saying, Gaultier gets the ball, but he's stretched out and under pressure. So Shabana served his objective. And then see right there, he's super stretched out. He forces something kind of loose. Good effort at defending by going up. And then Shabana can follow that up. And now let's move over to the left wall. So you see over here two different scenarios. In the clip on the left, Shabana is initiating from 3/4 court by hitting a straight drop, aiming to squeeze it into the sidewall. In the clip on the right, it's actually the counterattack example that I talked about. So Gaultier's put Shabana under pressure. Shabana is pretty stretched out over here, and he plays this nice, tight counter drop. So you can see both examples. And over here, check that out. Look how tight. Ball is glued to the sidewall. Ball is glued to the sidewall in both examples. Gaultier gets them in both situations. On the left, because it was glued, it's super loose, and he has to quickly get out of the way, and Shabana stepping in because he wants to hunt the volley. The clip on the right, you see Shabana getting ready, and in both cases the racket is ready. Over here, Shabana started off with a flat racket, and then he got it nice and high for his swing. Natural deception, he can do anything from here, and he can do anything from here in the left clip as well. And then what do we see? We see Shabana can hit to the open court based on where his opponent is and where he can feel his opponent's momentum going. So what you'll notice is in the clip on the left, Gaultier ended up having to move around Shabana and come behind him. So now the open court is right there in a good place for Shabana, because this is a strength of his forehand drop shot. So he's going to put that ball into the open court. And this is working against Gaultier because his momentum was going back to get out of the way, and then he has to push forward again. So that's a lot of work too. In the clip on the right, Gaultier was moving back, but he knows he has to cover this front court because Shabana loves that counter drop. And then Shabana puts a little hold in and then rips that ball cross court. And you see Gaultier, if he knew that ball was going back, he would have split step in such a way that his left foot would have been forward and his right foot would have been back so he could turn. But you can see his feet are totally neutral because he was unsure which way that ball was going to go. And see right there, you can see he has no agility and athleticism there because he was totally stunned and flat-footed because of Shabana's hold. And you can see the outcome there. All he can do is fall and reach because he can't even move that foot. It's kind of like he's stuck in quicksand because of the hold. And then moving back just a tiny bit for the clip on the left, remember how we said Gaultier's momentum was going back? Shabana takes him in short, so now Gaultier has to go all the way around him again. And Shabana actually caught the nick over here, even though his drop was high. And Gaultier is unable to get that ball on the left, and on the right, Gaultier is the ball's like way far away from Gaultier, and he can't even get close to it. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that video on combinations with Amr Shabana. You can see that the combination can be initiated from anywhere, any part of the court, with any shot. It could be a boast, it could be a drop, it could be a drive, it could be anything. And then it's about knowing what your strengths are, playing to those strengths with the combination, hunting after you put that first shot in, hunting that second shot, but then also respecting and resetting if your opponent hits something good enough. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you can start practicing some of these things. Do a little inventory check on yourself to see what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then slowly start adding in and creating a training plan that's effective and catered to you so that you can improve your game. As always, if you're enjoying these videos, please give them a thumbs up, comment. I love the comments that you guys are sharing. It's really, really good conversation. Share the channel with a friend who likes squash. I think they're going to get a lot of value out of it as well. And I will see you in the next video.